Have you been diagnosed with piriformis syndrome and/or do you experience a pain deep in your glute? And the reason, or so you've been told, that you hurt is because you have weakness of your piriformis, and therefore if you strengthen your piriformis, your pain will go away. It sounds all well and good and seems to make sense, but you've got to be careful because you could either do the wrong piriformis syndrome exercises or you could go about doing them in the wrong way, and you could easily make yourself worse and/or waste a ton of time and energy going down a path of strengthening only to find that you get no relief. But you could do those same exercises done in a different way and experience total pain relief. But how is this possible? Well, you see, sometimes it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I've discovered after working with over 10,000 people worldwide dealing with back, butt, and sciatica problems that there's a very specific process or way to go about thinking how you can strengthen this muscle to reduce your pain. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist. I'm also residency trained and orthopedic board specialized. This places my knowledge and experience in the top 0.5% of PT providers here in the US alone. I only help people with back, butt, and sciatica problems, and in doing so, I've discovered there's a very specific process for strengthening the piriformis muscle to get the best results. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 strengthening exercise secrets so you don't goof this up and you can strengthen your piriformis in the most effective, efficient way possible. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to highlight the clamshell exercise as an exercise that we know can strengthen the glutes and piriformis deep buttock muscles. But just know that I'm not playing favorites here. There's many other exercises that can be equally as effective. It comes down to testing, not guessing. The cool news is that you can apply all of these different secrets and concepts that I'm going to share with you today to the specific strengthening exercises that you've been told to do and or that you want to try on. Secret number 1, holds over reps. So most people have been given the clamshell exercise, have been told to do, say, 3 sets of 10 reps. And there's a problem with this for 2 reasons. So you get to 10, and generally it's not very challenging. That's the first issue, not challenging enough. And number 2, it fails to appreciate the makeup of, or the science of, the piriformis muscle itself. So research shows that roughly 84% of the piriformis muscle is made up of slow twitch muscle fibers. These are endurance fibers, and we need to then train them in a way that challenges the endurance over time under tension, through the strengthening exercises that we prescribe. So if you're doing 3 sets of 10 reps, let's just assume that each rep takes 2 to 3 seconds. That means to do 10 reps, you're taking about 20 to 30 seconds, or you're placing that muscle, deep buttock muscles, under tension for 20 to 30 seconds. I've just found it's not enough. So I found that by switching any exercise that you're doing from reps to holds, where you're increasing that time under tension, you're appreciating that the piriformis muscle is more of an endurance muscle, and you're challenging it in a prolonged endurance fashion, and you increase the time under tension from, say, 30 seconds to 60 seconds, then the results are much longer lasting, and this exercise becomes much more effective. And so what I would recommend, instead of doing 3 sets of 10 reps, is do 3 holds until you're tired. And when I say tired, make the goal somewhere between 45 to 60 seconds. So you'll do 3 45 to 60 second holds and pick a resistance that challenges you and allows you to feel fatigue after 45 to 60 seconds. So maybe you're doing it without any resistance, and that's enough. Maybe you need some type of band, something like this, where you can put it above your knees to get the resistance that you need. Doesn't need to be heavy, such that when you hold it 45, 60 seconds, you're pretty cooked. Now, what you don't want to do if you add resistance, just another quick tip here, is if this is all you got, but you can actually get here, then you want to make sure that resistance does not limit your range of motion. You still want to get to the maximally shortened position and hold it in that place. Feel the burn, bring it to fatigue, and challenge the muscle sufficiently so that it has a reason to change. It has a reason to need to increase its endurance. Secret number 2, you don't need to strengthen both sides. Oftentimes, asymmetrical problems require asymmetrical or one-sided solutions. So there's this huge belief system that if you don't strengthen both sides, so I just did my left side, that now you need to roll and do the right side. But do you really? And is your goal really to increase the strength of your glutes? Or do you just want to become pain-free? Oh, well, Charlie, I thought I needed to strengthen my glutes to become pain-free. Well, maybe, but not necessarily. And so again, one-sided problems, often one-sided solutions. Don't buy into thinking you need to strengthen both sides. It's possible you could get the relief you're looking for by just strengthening one side. And no, you're not going to walk around in a circle or become really asymmetrical or out of whack if you just do one side. You know, if you're a baseball pitcher and you throw all the time with your right hand, I don't know many who feel as though they need to throw the equal amount of pitches with the left hand. It's possible you could just do one side and get superior results compared to doing both sides. Now that leads me to my third secret. Well, Dr. Charlie, which side do I pick? Do I do my right or do my left? You see, there's this common belief that if you have pain, say on the right side of the body, in the right butt cheek, that it only makes sense to strengthen the right side. That's sort of an old school thought, but if you think about it, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it actually increases the risk that you make yourself worse. And so I'm actually going to recommend that you start trying to strengthen your pain-free side, your good side. You see, trying to strengthen a painful piriformis is like playing with fire. Imagine you're out with your kids in the backyard one day and there's a fire, you have a bonfire going. Would you suggest that your kids try to run and play around the fire, or they go somewhere else for safety in the yard? We all know the answer to that, but when it comes to rehab, a lot of people don't think about that. So what they do is they stretch, pull, poke, prod, contract the area that's painful. This flame right here represents your painful piriformis, the burn in the back butt or leg. And so rather than trying to dance around this and contract the very area where the fire is, why not go somewhere else? Why not go to your good pain-free side? So now obviously look, the choice is yours. If you want to strengthen a painful area, go ahead, be my guest and try it. It really comes down to testing, not guessing. But if I were you, I would start to think outside the box. And it's possible the reason that strengthening is making you worse is because you're being too aggressive with strengthening the fire. You're playing with the fire, you're getting burnt, and you're not seeing the results you're looking for. Now, obviously, the choice is yours. You can try strengthening the painful side. You can try dancing around the fire and hoping that you don't get burnt, but I would recommend that you start to think outside the box and consider that, again, if you have a one-sided problem, which often requires a one-sided solution, well, maybe strengthening the good side will actually help the bad side. After all, the entire body is connected. And so obviously it's your choice at the end of the day. If you like the idea of dancing and playing with fire and hoping that you don't get burnt, then absolutely go ahead and try to strengthen the painful area and see what happens. But if you've already tried that or you're looking for a safer approach, one that's most likely pain-free, go ahead and try strengthening or working the pain-free side and seeing how it works out for you. All right, secret number 4, just to summarize everything for you and make sense of it. Dr. Charlie, you said secret number 1, shift from doing reps to holds. You said secret number 2, you don't need to do things on both sides. What about just one side? Secret number 3, why not start in the most safe, pain-free way possible by doing strengthening on your good side? I know it's sort of a novel concept. Unless you're someone who likes to play with fire, then go ahead, be my guest, do it on the bad side, but try the good side. And now, how do I know if any of this is going to work for me or it's just going to be a waste of time? So we're going to use the scientific method and apply it to exercise to test so that you can determine if the strengthening exercise you're doing or the one that I showed you here is going to be best for you. Ideally, this strengthening exercise should be pain-free. It should be what I call a yummy motion. And number 2, it should result in immediate improvement in your movement experience. It should make you better immediately. If it doesn't, I have no reason to believe that it'll make you better in the future. So step number 1. Find a yucky motion. You can't manage what you don't measure. You've got to find a baseline. So find a yucky motion. The most common yucky motion for people with piriformis syndrome and or sciatica symptoms is a figure 4 motion. So I'm giving you this as an example. Figure 4 motion is often painful, problematic in the butt, numbness, tingling going down the leg. And so putting on socks, putting on shoes, all those things, that's a figure 4. But maybe this isn't painful. It doesn't matter to me. Maybe it's going up the stairs. Maybe it's getting out of a chair or out of your car. Maybe it's walking. So maybe you could go for a little walk now and experience some symptoms. And then what you want to do, again, this is super important because you can't manage what you don't measure. You want to rate how yucky or symptomatic this yucky motion, whatever that may be for you, is. On a scale of 0 to 100, is it low yucky? 10, 20, 30. Is it medium yucky? 40, 50, 60. Is it high yucky? 70, 80, 90. So do your yucky motion, figure 4, kicking your leg out, getting up, walking, stairs, squatting, lunging, jumping. It doesn't matter, any yucky motion. Same idea. It's 50. Medium yuckiness. Okay, that's great. Don't spend any more than 30 seconds selecting that number. You've got a baseline. Now, my pain's on my right. Holds, one side, on my pain-free side. This side, great. Gonna go ahead, you're gonna do now. So you just tested, you got a baseline, now you're gonna treat. You're going to do your strengthening exercise. You can do along with me. If it's not the clamshell, that's okay. But I'm going to do 3 holds until I feel tired. Again, we should be tired around 45, 60 seconds. If I'm holding this without resistance for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I need to add some resistance so that it brings it back down to that 45 to 60 seconds to where I'm tired. Okay, but let's just say I did 1, I did 2. These are all holds, all right? And then I did my 3rd round of holds, hold. Whew, man, really feeling that deep buttock muscle burn. Now what we want to do to see if that worked and is best for you is we want to immediately retest the yucky motion. So I would go ahead and I would retest my yucky right figure 4. Now I know I did it on the left, but remember the whole body's connected. So I'm going to retest my right figure 4. And we're going to see same, better, worse. If it's better, you can be done. And you have evidence to prove that that motion, strengthening the left side, improves your right figure 4, even if it seems completely weird and out of this world. If it made no change, then we can do something different. If it made you worse, then we clearly don't do that. And the next logical, in case you're wondering, motion to test out would be just to do it on the painful side. Now, that being said, if you are strengthening the painful side, so let's just say that doing that good side didn't work, well, I could do it on my bad side, my right side, in this example. And if I did this and just after 1 or 2 reps, it was really painful to do, don't do it. The motion must be yummy and it must make an immediate improvement. But let's just say that it wasn't yucky and you could tolerate it on your painful side. Then you could do 3 holds until you were fatigued or until you were tired. And then you would retest that yucky motion. And maybe you say better, in which case, awesome. You've proven that you can play with fire and you don't get burnt. In fact, it actually improves your movement experience. It's a yummy motion, it's a safe motion, and it works for you, strengthening the painful side. If it makes you worse, again, you don't do that. We've got to go testing and finding other motions. And if it makes you the same, again, we've got to go test and find other motions. All right, so hopefully these 4 secrets were helpful. Shift to holds versus reps. Go ahead, one side, you're not going to spin around and do circles. You'll be all right. And number 3, try the safe, pain-free side first. You can always move closer to the fire. It's hard once you've gotten burnt to just move away from it and undo that. All right, so reduce the risk of flare-up, start somewhere safe. And finally, number 4, test, don't guess. Apply the scientific method to exercise or to healing to find what's going to work best for you. The motion that you do, the strengthening exercise, should be safe. It should be a yummy motion, shouldn't cause any pain or problems. And number 2, it should immediately result in improvement. Otherwise, what evidence do you have to believe that it'll help you in the future if it doesn't work now? Hopefully this video was useful. If you're curious as to well, how do I know if I should strengthen in the first place? I know I could stretch this too. What should I be doing? Check out another video I created a while back that walks you through a quick motion test to determine if strengthening might make sense for you.